Hello, fabulous superstar Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of February 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boys, at a very special time. And it truly is so special now. Powerful energies are with us. And it is going to be on the 4th of the month that Jupiter in your sign will go direct. Jupiter has been retrograde since the first days of October. And now, as we begin this month, Jupiter standing still, gearing up to change directions, means that Jupiter is closer to the Earth than it might otherwise be. And it is now that Jupiter in your sign is going to feel that much more magnified in its potential to have you feeling so much more optimistic and being aware of how it is you can magnify blessings that much more. The thing is, this is Jupiter, which means you have to work with its energy to make it count for something. Because with Jupiter, sometimes we just feel like everything's amazing, that we don't actually follow that up with action. But it's the action that ends up helping us to work with the universe to our advantage that much more. And so now here we are. Jupiter goes direct in your sign. And this is one of those very important moments as part of a very important transit. You only get Jupiter moving through your sign once every 12 years. It was in the middle of last year that Jupiter moved into Gemini and will leave your sign in June, not to return for over a decade. Make the most of this moment by striving to listen to yourself and know something about yourself. It's going to be illuminated. You'll feel more in touch with some truth about what matters to you most, what matters to you first, or a clarity of identity that's more rooted in a healthy sense of the possible. A sense of wonder, but also a sense of adventure. That's what you want to trust, because ultimately Jupiter is wanting to put you on a brand new pathway, a cycle that takes you forward for 12 years. This is a pivotal moment in your understanding of what it is you desire to begin, and it starts to begin now. It is February 7th that we're going to have an important and rare connection in the sky when the North Node meets Neptune. Now, this meeting happens about once every 17 years, and it's pretty much always in a different part of the sky. So you get a handful of these meetings over the course of a lifetime, really. And for you, this meeting is happening at the top of your sky, having to do with career, social standing, life purpose. Now, when the North Node is so powerfully activated, it is as if a doorway opens from which new people, places, things, and situations can enter, which represent karmic blessings. That is part of the promise available to you at this time. This sense of what's possible, what's opening up to you, becomes that much more apparent. But it is a beginning. It's a seed moment, ultimately. The types of people you might attract here are going to be those who promise big things, who are very dreamy, or the opportunities can feel almost too good to be true, like a dream come true, where it comes to your career aims or other goals that you might have for your life. So it becomes really important to pace yourself. As you can see, dreams, of course, can be made real. And they certainly will be. We are later this year going to have Saturn meeting the North Node as well. That's a powerful sense of crystallization and of manifestation. But right now we're still in the dream place, in the dream state. So enjoy it for what it is. And ultimately it is inspiration, but also you may end up connecting with new people who may be part of your larger success, especially in the fullness of time. So strive to be busy, cast your net wide, knowing that aligning with a higher, more loving vision for your life, as the North Node tends to suggest, well, it can help your life move in a direction that feels that much more in touch with a flow that feels that much more positive. It will be on the 12th of the month that we will have this month's full moon in a communicative part of your sky. This part of the sky also has to do with the siblings, cousins, and neighbors in your life as well. Now, it is this full moon that is going to be involved in a larger configuration of tension called a T-square with Uranus. And that suggests a surprise a minute, if not a shock a minute. This speaks to wild card factors presenting themselves to you. And this very likely is going to feel very synchronistic to you. It's going to feel as if out of nowhere, as you're out and about doing your errands or doing what it is that you have to do as you move through life, well, it can feel as if out of nowhere, your path goes in another way or another direction. There could be a very spontaneous, synchronistic moment of connecting with someone, and it makes an impression, it makes the difference. But this could also be a random conversation that feels like it stands out to you in some way as well. Learning and teaching are covered here, and so opportunities to do just that might be part of what takes you by surprise. Because siblings, cousins, and neighbors are covered here, it's possible that some of this surprise energy that could have you scrambling really quickly, it may not be about what's happening in your life, but one of these people might have some surprise occurrences in their lives, and you may or may not be able to have to scramble for them in some way, or maybe you just have to be there in observation. For all that, though, understand that it is Chiron that is speaking in supreme harmony with this full moon as well. And Chiron is in a friendship part of your sky. And what that suggests is by sharing your journey with friends, by talking with friends, it can feel as if you understand more of what feels so uncertain or what feels like it just comes out of nowhere for you to address and deal with. It is a conversation that restores an awareness of wisdom and how what feels so erratic actually could work very well to your advantage. A lot of it is how you respond to it. Even if it feels like a circumstance pops up seemingly out of nowhere, your reaction can turn it into a really big opportunity, perhaps bigger than the opportunities you've had in a while. The 23rd of the month brings with it Mars direct. Here we are. Mars has been retrograde since the first days of December 2024. And it was actually all the way back in the first days of October 2024. That was where Mars was. Where Mars is now. So Mars has returned to where it was back then. And whatever's happening, especially as we move into the second half of the month, you just might see what was taking place back then in early October differently in some way, more clearly, and with a greater understanding of what you can do to feel that much more empowered. Saturn is speaking in supreme harmony with Mars as Mars is standing still in the sky and shifting directions. And it is Saturn at the top of your sky, so this brings with it a sense of stability, a sense of groundedness or maturity on your part in terms of your understanding of matters that are financial. There might be career progress that's made, but it'll be well earned. And it does come with a measure of increased prosperity. But again, it looks like it comes with a lot more responsibility as well. For all that, though, with Mars going forward here, it can feel like a money matter that might have felt stagnant can finally move forward, whether it has to do with money you were hoping to spend or how it is that you earn your money, how it is you define prosperity. This part of the sky also has to do with healthy self-love, healthy self-esteem. And I think there could be bigger opportunities for you in some way. They're going to require you to put yourself out there in a way from a place of healthy self-love and healthy self-esteem, but still be able to back it up with experience. That's when you're working that much more with the universe to have any opportunities that do come, to have them go your way. The 27th of the month features this month's new moon. And this new moon takes place at the top of your sky, where earlier in the month we had Neptune and the North Node meeting. Now we get this new moon. So this new moon is speaking in tension with Jupiter in your sign. And I see that as overconfidence, overdoing it, going way too far, over optimism. Now, some would say that's not a problem, right? It's okay to be overly optimistic or overconfident. A lot is going to depend on your unique circumstance. This particular energy is also speaking in harmony with Mars as well, though it's somewhat of a wide alignment. It's still a supremely harmonious alignment. And what that suggests is energy, power, and empowerment to take whatever new career opportunities that might present themselves to you and be able to run with them in some way. And to feel as if the financial piece is there as well for you to take advantage of very likely some new career possibilities that show up for you, or the possibility of aligning your life with a sense of purpose, a sense of getting more clear as to what your next goals are going to be. And these are seed moments. That's what a new moon represents. It's a very beginning. And so it could be a new vision that opens up, but it shows you what it is you might want to work towards as you seek to align your will with a higher, more loving vision for your life. Now, where it comes to matters of love, on the 28th of January, just before we started this month, Venus stepped into shadow at the top of your sky and is going to be in shadow throughout this month. It will be at the very beginning of next month that Venus officially goes retrograde. But about 4 days into this month, Venus moves into a friendship part of your sky. And by the end of the month is slowing down, standing still, closer to the earth than it might otherwise be. If anybody out there is going to feel like friendship and love become intimately tied, perhaps in a messy way of sorts, it certainly is you. That becomes very possible for you now. In particular, as soon as Venus moves into this friendship part of your sky, very quickly moves to align in harmony with Pluto. And that brings that much more intensity and passion into the mix. So observe what's taking place, because this is the pathway that Venus will retrograde over, will walk over starting next month. And then once we get into April, once Venus goes direct, moves forward from there, it will be Venus that starts moving over this larger path for a third and final time, leaving shadow in the middle of May. Now, there is going to be a Venus retrograde special horoscope. I'll have horoscopes here on my YouTube channel, on my website, nadiyashah.com. So be on the lookout for that. And also, I did speak about this for each of the signs in the year ahead horoscope. There's something up here on YouTube, but also, again, at my website, nadiyashah.com. But having said that, where it comes to matters of love, this is huge. This represents a very important moment. And in the context of love, for those of you open to meeting someone new, if anybody is likely to feel like friendship and love mesh and blur in some way, it certainly is you. In the first days of this week in particular, there's a lot of intensity and a lot of passion there, whether it's with a friend or through a friend or at a social event. Making a connection with someone that feels strong, that feels significant, is very possible now. And so pace yourself. You are likely going to have lots of social invitations throughout this month. And you get to decide which ones you're going to tap into, which ones you're going to move forward with. But for all that, it is about that intersection of friendship and love that is going to be a key exploration for you now and in the months ahead. For those of you just starting to date someone, well, the beginning of the month has Venus in shadow at the top of your sky. And that's a lot about figuring out whether or not you're heading in the same direction with this person. But for all that, once it is that Venus changes signs just days into this month, it's about how it is that you feel connected to this person on a level of companionship. And bringing them or merging them with your friend group or social events, or vice versa. Maybe it is you are attending more social events with them. These become some possible scenarios that might be able to find you at this time. But for all that, there's also this potential here for learning new things about this person that maybe you hadn't realized before. I do think that as we get to the end of the month, the energy is especially passionate. And so pace yourself and be yourself. You know, I like to say that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it just felt like this connection sort of had a will of its own, started feeling especially strong, but also especially fun as well. And for those of you in an established bond, well, for those in established bonds, you do want to watch what's transpiring here because, as I said earlier, you may see the events differently in some way, but I'm seeing an overall trend here more having to do with attending more social events together, wanting to be more social with others. These seem like larger themes that might be playing out. However, for those of you who might have felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you, it is the role of friends that's going to help you to understand what it is you might want to do next. However, famously with Venus retrograde, breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. Do what feels right for you to do in light of your unique circumstances, and understand that your friends, some friends, might support some of your insights, some of your choices. Others might try to talk you out of it, but ultimately the choice really is yours. But this is ultimately just an early part of a larger journey that's going to take you right into the middle of the spring. I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love the fact that we have Jupiter in your sign going direct in the first days of the month. This is huge. Jupiter moving forward is like this unleashing of blessings. And for you, this is Jupiter in your sign. So of course you're going to feel it that much more. Of course it's going to affect more having to do with your vitality and your energy. And I think Jupiter going direct in your sign will have you feeling just more alive, healthier, more engaged with life, but also genuinely hopeful for how much more is ahead. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate over at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or TheFutureIsMagical.com. Now, higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. I also want to add that I do have a very limited number of consultations available. You can learn a lot more about getting a consultation with me or with Andy of Wise Ass Astrology. Yes, you can book a consultation with him as well over on my website. Just check out the consultation tab and links are below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.